Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to the Other People's Show this Friday night at 11:05 p.m. North Americans.
And for those of you who still think we're from England,
We're not.
no. We've been all playing.
Now, there still hasn't been a winner.
We might die.
I said, if you know what the opening song is,
And you might have lots of
it's from a radio show, my favorite radio show. It's the show that I wish I could carbon copy and just be in, but I'm not. But thank you for tuning in on this lovely, lovely night. Please go to all the social media pages. You've got the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. The Other People's Show. Listen a little bit. So, flying by the seat of our pants. Is that a saying? I don't know. I think it is. You know, I caught the last bit of that other show. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. I do say so myself, I guess. So how's everyone being? How's everyone been? How's everyone going to be? Because I'm interested in finding out. I'm interested in learning about you all. We're going to have the phones open tonight, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what we're going to do. We're going to play some tunes. Now, we have a lot of fun stuff. We being the show, not just me, but there's behind the scenes people. I have a production assistant. She does an amazing job. She wears leggings because that helps her do a lot of the things. Hey, I need you to move that over there. Can you run there and get that? Can you produce this? So thank you. North American. Now I have, I don't know how you all have been this week. It's been weeks go by with me. It seems like every day is quicker and quicker than the last. I don't really have any what you would say downtime. We were talking last week with Chandler Cole. He was talking about that he likes not everyone is cut out for that kind of a life. And that is a very true statement. Because a lot of the life, and it's not like one life is better than the other. It's like you find like what you want to do, your goal, I'm big into goals, big into reaching things, big into setting a goal, springboarding past that goal, and creating another one. Never basking in the success of just what happened, because that will fade quickly. And what will you have then? You will have the critics talking about you. You will have sitting there self-loathing. You don't want that. You don't want that at all. But, the days and weeks have went by really quickly, and it always seems to me that if you're in warmer weather, and I'm not talking about maybe scalding, 8-degree burn, 3rd-degree burns. I guess if you had 8-degree burns, you would probably incinerate. But, not that heat, not that kind of a heat. But if you do have the warmth and the sun and, the pretty day, you're going to probably have a quicker day. That is scientifically proven. The better weather you have, the better it's likely that your day will go better. It'll go quicker, and you'll enjoy it more. Now, obviously, there's the people that like rain, which I don't mind rain. Let it rain. Let it rain. It can't rain all the time. Let the sun shine. I don't care. What I don't like, and I will not be ashamed to say this, is I don't like snow. I don't want to see it again. If I never saw snow again in my entire life, I would be more than happy. if I never saw weather below 40 degrees, but below 45 degrees, I would be fine. So that is kind of, where I'm coming from, what I'm thinking about, and, where I would like to live. But when you have these beautiful days, they do go by much quicker than the rainy days for the most part, or the snow days. Because, I remember, and I'm sure you guys can remember this as well. You're sitting back, you're, you're back in your house, you're younger, and you have a snow day. And during the snow day, it would usually be a lot of, I guess it would be a lot of, maybe, what were those called? Like soap operas. So you'd be home from school, you might have the sniffles, or you might, be throwing up, or whatever the case may be. Now, I did fake quite a bit when going to school in those early years. I didn't want to go. Probably fifth and sixth grade is when let's see, what was this? It? Yeah. So you're homesick, and then you probably have what? What do you have there? You have the chicken noodle soup. You probably have the crackers, maybe even like the saltine crackers. You might even have those little crackers that are like, I don't know, like shaped like a clam or something. Is that what it is? So you're sitting there, and then you would, if you were sick, you wouldn't be able to go outside and play unless you were maybe like Ferris Bueller, sneak out. But, if your parents worked, maybe you were able to do things, but if you were sick, you weren't really able to do it. And then that was kind of a staple of being homesick. And that's just, I think every kid, maybe not even now because you have all the devices and such, but when you were a kid of a certain generation, you would probably grow up in, hearing that. Or you could also, I'm sure you would hear this. Which game on The Price is Right was your all's? Did you have a favorite game? Message me, or you can call in just a moment, possibly. I don't know if I'm going to take calls tonight. I kind of want to. I know there's been a couple people that have called in, but I don't really know. There's been a couple of people that have called in with the wrong answer to the question asked on the last show, and so keep that coming. Keep the answers and the responses coming on that. But, I do think it's easier it was probably, well, I don't even think probably. I know for a fact that it was much easier to be a kid back in those days. And not only due to technology and all things like that, but when you did have things that were out of the norm, you appreciated it more. And I think that, there were, now attention's divided between so many things. You've got you've got the television, which I think is less and less. Because in all honesty, I never, rarely ever watch TV. Now, I watch a movie on the TV, but I never really watch TV. I have no, I watch a movie, I try to watch a movie at night, and I'm watching it on the TV. But as far as TV, I really haven't had any kind of a cable or anything in my life like that since 2007. The last thing I guess I watched on cable that Talitha and I paid for together was Ghost Hunters. It was the Halloween episode. So that was kind of a fun show, and I do remember watching that a lot. Usually, if you do this long enough, you'll get it the first time. I've done it long enough, and I still take 3 tries. So that's kind of unfortunate for myself. So, what happened today? Now, I've got a couple of different side hustles, i.e. other jobs that I do. And I'm very blessed in that way. and very happy to be able to do the things that I do because they allow me to be creative, to write, to work on the show, despite not sounding like it. Huh. But anyway, today I did hurt my finger terribly. Now the people that are watching on the Facebook feed and everything, the YouTube feed, I smashed my finger within a glass door. And I haven't had that many smashed fingers in my life. So I can't really say that I've ever really been injured that much in my complete life. You know, I've had a scrape here, a bruise there, but I did have one injury. And the injury was where I had my pinky severely dislocated. Now I'll show the people that are watching. Now it can't close, it can't fully close, and it's always bent to some degree. I would say probably at a 90-degree angle. It was one of the most infuriating and one of the most heartbreaking things that I've ever had to deal with personally. I ended up losing a tremendous amount of weight over it, and I still have not been able to get back into the exact shape that I was pre-finger, just due to some of the things I'm not able to do. You do not, I don't think that you would really understand how much, a little pinky would mean in your everyday life. I mean, I don't, you wouldn't think it would be that big of a deal, but right after surgery, several months after surgery, or before I got it actually, worked on, surgery, it, putting your shirt on, accidentally hitting your hand against a table, trying to turn your wheel of your car and your pinky accidentally, because it's stuck straight out at the time, accidentally hits the, turn signal. And it's things like this that you're like, ah, ooh, ee. It's a puny pinky problem. I realize that. That's a tongue twister. Puny pinky problem. The 3 P's. Puny pinky problem. So that was a problem that I had for quite some time. I was unable to do push-ups for a while, and therefore that was probably one of the most heartbreaking things, personally, injuries that I've had. But this smashed finger today, just a few hours prior to the show, about an hour and a half prior to the show, is really throbbing right now. So that's what I'm thinking about at the moment. But that's okay, because we all have things like that. We all have things that hurt our soul. We all have things that hurt us individually, and we all have heavy things that really do eat away at us. So with that being said, here's a song to enjoy. Collective Soul, Heavy, on 92.5 WLSD. And that's a band. It's weird. That's a band that you probably don't hear a lot of from nowadays, and I haven't. But back in I guess it was back in 2010, I had went out with a girl just maybe twice, and she the only time I've really went out with a redhead. I should set Keaton up with this girl. Just kidding. But the girl, I later found out, I had noticed a few, maybe, I don't know, a year and a half ago, that she had deleted me from Facebook. So I was like, well, who deleted me? So when discovering who it was, I was like, oh, she deleted me, which was fine because I hadn't spoke to her in years. But she was dating a drummer for Collective Soul. But I don't know if it was the original drummer or not. I have no idea. So that's kind of interesting. And Collective Soul falls into that group of 90s bands, I think, a lot of them, that you would know the music, but you might not know, unless you were a diehard fan, you would not know what the band looked like. Like you really wouldn't know. You wouldn't know who the lead singer was. And that's how like Tonic. Remember the band Tonic? You might not know the band, excuse me, but you would probably know the song when you hear it, or they had a couple songs. You've heard this before.
loves me, then maybe you would understand why I feel this way.
Remember this?
Our love and what I must do
Sure you do.
if you could only see
Wait until it kicks in.
her eyes can be when she says she loves me.
The Seatonic is one of those bands, you know, they've got a song, If You Could Only See, Open Your Eyes. I guess they've got a couple songs, their hit songs have something to do with if you could only see, just open your eyes. Now, what it really was, if you go back and look, with Tonic anyway, is the story goes, and I think it's true, is the lead singer, his mother was an overbearing mother, and his mother did not accept who he chose to be his wife. And he's saying, if you could only see the way she loves me, if you could only see these things. So that was something that I learned on Rick D's Top 40 back in the 90s. But that was another band where you might not have known exactly what the lead singer or the band even looked like. What about this next band here? Do you know this song? Now you know this song. Filter. Take a picture.
Awake on my airplane, awake on my airplane, my skin is bare.
But see, this is another band. Does the lead singer, what's his name? What color hair does he have? Now, I know what color hair he has, but I don't know his name. So, I know it still is like that a lot now, too. But it seemed like a lot during this time, you would have some of these bands, they would have a couple of hit songs, and then you would not really hear much out of them much. You know what I mean? Like you might hear something now and again, but a couple years they were off the charts, still making music, no doubt, but they didn't really. I'm not really sure exactly, but whoa, I'm tangled up here. But I'm just going through some things and thinking about it, like the band Bush. Now, Bush is a band that, if you know alternative music in the 90s, early 2000s, you would know this band. And I guess you would know Gavin Rossdale because he's a fairly attractive lead singer. He did a solo album by himself, and it didn't do so well. I thought it was okay. Like band, Bush. Now, with a lot of these bands and a lot of artists in general, I seem to gravitate towards some of the lesser known songs that they may have, or also gravitate toward more of the independent or fringe movies. So one of my favorite Bush songs was from I think it was the 1999 album, The Chemicals Between Us, and that was not my favorite song on the album, and that is one of the lesser songs. I would think it was an okay song, but it wasn't one of the better ones, I thought. But as far as Bush goes, one of my favorite songs is Letting the Cables Sleep, which we will listen to in just a moment. But Letting the Cables Sleep is directed by Joel Schumacher. If you don't know the name right off, you may have heard some of his movies. He did some movies in the 80s. St. Elmo's Fire. He also did let's see what else he did. Oh, The Client, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, Phone Booth, and array of many other movies. But this is Bush, Letting the Cable Sleep. See what you think of this on The Other People Show. Bush letting the cable sleep right here on 92.5 WLSD The Vault. Now, Gavin Rossdale, or Rosedale as some may say, I liked his hair in this video. In while we were playing, while the song was playing, I was watching the video, and I like the hair. That it's kind of, I'm going to try to do my hair like that. Now he has darker hair, and sometimes I have darker hair, but the lighting in here makes me look like I have really really blonde hair. uh, I was wondering this in the break. A couple of people had messaged in and said, about Gavin Rosdale's hair as well. Is there any particular kind of hair that you like? Now, there was a couple different women that I've spoke to recently, and they've either had their hair cut or trimmed, and they have said this is a younger to mid-level demographic here, and they have said that their partner or significant other, whoever they're with, has gotten upset that they've got their hair cut shorter. Is that a thing? I didn't know that it was such a thing, because my thought is, if you were married to someone or dating someone and they want to get their hair cut or trimmed, whatever he or she decides to do, then why should the other person be upset about that? I like you for being the person you are, not because your hair is so sexy. Now, hair can be. There was a meme going around. It was something like, I think the question was, something about something unusual that you may be attracted to or find attractive on other people. I'm not sure how unusual it would be, but I like a girl to have a cute nose, a cute nose. So if you've got that cute nose, then and it might be it's not any kind of a weird fetish kind of thing at all. But there's just like this cute little nose, and there's a couple of different ones. Now, I don't really have what you would say a cute nose. I have there used to be a little, I can't remember what they were called, but there was like a little series of books I had as a kid, and some of there were little figures, and the figure that I had a couple different ones, but one was like a triangle. It was like a little plastic or rubber, I guess rubber toy maybe, like a little figure, and it was just like a triangle, but it had eyes, and then the slope was part of its nose. That's kind of like my nose. So I wouldn't look for someone with my nose in another in another person, because then, I mean, really, if you think about it, you would go into kiss, and you could just bump noses. Just imagine, have you ever done that? Went in to kiss someone, and then the other person actually not know exactly how to kiss? Isn't that kind of a weird? I don't think it's a weird thing. I think it's a thing that happens more often than you realize. And I've not even really kissed that many girls compared to how many girls that are in the world, I guess you could say. But have you had there's I've heard girls tell me that their past boyfriends seem to like go in almost like in an attack mode toward the lips, or always moving forward, or almost in a licking like sensation or something like that. I'm not exactly sure, but that just seems like a weird thing to me. That doesn't seem like anything even plausible, to be honest with you. And I don't know why. I just don't know. It doesn't seem like it's that hard. It doesn't seem like it's that hard at all. Watch a few movies, take a few notes, read up on it, watch a video, hire someone to, help you out. There's a new movie with Jennifer Lawrence coming out, and she's hired to, I guess, teach this kid the ways of the world. I'm not 100% sure. I can't recall, but it's kind of like that. Hire someone, hire me. No, I don't want to be hired for that. I'm just kidding. But I'll hook you up with someone that can be hired to help you. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Because that's another thing. You don't want somebody really that has a bad nose and doesn't know how to kiss, because you want that. You want that. But you also want somebody that's going to like you for you and you alone, right? That's what I always thought. You would want them for you and you alone. So, how about you and you alone? And that was Blessed Union of Souls with Hey Leonardo, She Likes Me for Me. But I didn't do that, so I do apologize. I typically don't back announce and do a lot of music, but I'm doing that tonight because it just feels right. It feels like that's what you should be doing. You've had a rough week. You're sitting back in your car. You're in your house. You're listening online. Whatever you're doing, I want to take you out of that moment and make you enjoy yourself, make you enjoy life. Just take you out of that for just a moment. So let's try to maybe, I don't know. Maybe, excuse me. Maybe we're gonna get some I think maybe a yoga or a guru in here at some point, because I do want to give the guru-ness out to the others. The others meaning the audience, meaning everyone that's listening. So I do want to give back for listening. I'm giving you a good song, giving you some things to ponder and to think about. Also giving you a future guru so you can do these things while listening. You can do the downward facing dog, child's pose. You can just sit, You can do that. It doesn't matter. We're going to make you feel better because that's what we're going to do. But yeah, my finger is actually still throbbing. It's still hurting, and it was just a glass door shut on it a little bit. So there was a question that was posed earlier today. We are in the Wise County area, and something. So you have technically, I guess you could say, Hurricane Road. It's up in Wise, but a lot of people say Hurricane. So I want to know, and you can message and leave comments on the Facebook page of mine or WLSD, whichever one you want to do. But is it Hurricane or Hurricane? And I want to tally up the votes and see which one gets it. So Hurricane or Hurricane in regarding the road up in Wise, Virginia. Now, a couple new things are happening. There's going to be some guests coming in probably every other week. We're going to have a guest in, male and female, because I do want to get different perspectives all the way around. We're going to have some musicians. We got Anthony Wayne going to come back in. I think next week we have I don't want to give away the name, but we are going to have a guest in studio next week. I've seen the guest on TikTok. I have even met the guest last week in Knoxville. But I've never had the guest on the show, and I've never actually got to sit down and have a one-on-one conversation. So that's going to happen next week, and I think it'll be a very interesting conversation. He's been on a couple of other things, and he's working on a project right now also. And we have Casey. He has a couple new shows out. He has one called Charred, Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly. That's going to be starting up, I think he said this week, and that's going to be going every Wednesday on Spotify. There'll be a new episode up of that one. And the Drunken Druid Diaries. That's like a daily show, so you can check that out. The Drunken Druid Diaries and Charred, Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly will be available on Spotify as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Also, I want to say, I was able to stop my job. I did 3. This was the 4th job I did today, but in between, this days went really quickly. in between, I was able to break away and go get a massage. And my producer, she had went with me as well. She got a deep tissue massage, and I just got more of the quick in and out massage just on my back because I'm ticklish. So I can't really have anyone touching my lower back, the small of my back, my legs, behind my knees, unmentionable areas because I laugh and I can't take it. But these massages were really good and really refreshing. So that was we had those at Mantra Massage today in Wise. So you should go up there and check them out. There, it was a guy that I know. He Jeff Fields. He was in my lower elementary school, a couple of early grades, and then in middle school days as well, a couple. And so yeah, that's a cool place. We really really enjoyed that. And I don't know why I have this here written. I do have a few notes written here. And the notes say Ryan Gosling and Gavin Rossdale. That's the only notes written on that piece of paper, which is kind of odd. I'm trying to really think. We've got a couple minutes left here in the show. And I really want to make this an impactful, kind of an impactful last hurrah, I guess you could say. I don't know if that's what it would be, a last hurrah, but it is what I want to give, as we're closing. Now, often there is Semisonic with Closing Time, and that's another band. Do most people know what Semisonic look like? Do they know the lead singer wears glasses? Do they know that it's a trio? I don't know if they know that. They probably only know the song Closing Time, which is not really I got to be honest, that could be their best song. But they do have at least 2 albums, but I think it could be probably their best song. I'm not sure. I've not listened to their their discography in quite some time, but I have done it, and I'm looking forward to a lot of things. So remember, hurricane or hurricane, hurricane or hurricane. So we're going to listen to Autumn Leaves on 92.5 The Vault.
The cold breeze and the autumn leaves brings back my past once again. The school days and the autumn haze makes
And that was Adam. I've messed up every time here. That was Autumn Leaves by myself and Destiny Cheyenne that we recorded back at Aaron Lee's studio. So he was the producer on that little piece of music called Autumn Leaves. It's been a good show. I feel like I never really get to give you all what you deserve, and I'm sorry about that. But I'm going to try to do a better job at that in the future, because who wants that to be weighed down upon them? Because I certainly don't. I certainly don't. And I want everyone to pretty much go into the weekend happy, not sad. So in the meantime, while you're doing that, please check out the Other People's Show on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, and TikTok. We'll be back Wednesday. Well, if you wanted to catch me on the Facebook show, The Dark Place, that'll be streaming. You can go to Spotify and all that stuff's on there. So also, please check out Casey's show, Charred Adventures in the Culinary Underbelly, and the Drunken Druid Diaries. I think that'll be fun for a lot of people out there. Please check that out. Until next time, I'm Adam on 92.5 WLSD, The Vault.